Hi, welcome back. I'm Dr. Marianne Shepard, and I'm bringing you this series this month on special considerations with reinforcement. This is the 5th video in our series this month, and we are talking more about the post-reinforcement pause. Why have I brought that up so much this series? Because it is an important phenomena in behavior that when you earn a reward, you dip in your behavior. And so, especially if you're on a fixed or predictable schedule of reinforcement, the only schedule that you don't really see that dip in behavior is a variable ratio schedule. So if you're on average every number of times, you're less likely to see a pause. But if you're on a token economy, and for every, let's say they need 10 tokens in order to get the reward, they're going to work really hard to get that reward. And then after they earn it, you're going to notice a pause or a dip in behavior. A lot of times when we see this pause or dip in behavior, we assume the intervention wasn't working. However, it may very well mean that the intervention was working. So if you notice that the child is responding, they're doing well, their behavior has improved significantly, they're raising their hand more, they're saying please and thank you more, they're engaging in the challenging behaviors less and more of those replacement behaviors, and you're seeing that improvement in behavior, and then you give them the reward, and that afternoon or the next day they are a nightmare to be with, and you're like, what happened? You were doing so well and now you're not. Sometimes we assume the intervention wasn't working. However, if they just earned their reward, that means they were really working on controlling their impulses, on practicing that behavior that is difficult for them for whatever reason, whether that's an inherent deficit or just a learning delay or whatever, but they were working on it. They were controlling those impulses. They were controlling that behavior. They earned their reward, and now they're taking a break. It doesn't mean that they won't resume. So when we have that pause, it's a brief pause in behavior, and then the behavior resumes, and the children will return to work, just like you return to work after a vacation or after a holiday. We go back to work, but we do take a pause or a break in our behavior. We don't dress as nice, that's a pause in behavior. We don't get up as early, that's a pause in behavior. Maybe we do less work, check our emails less frequently on vacations and breaks, that's a pause in behavior. And so you're behaving less, you're doing those things less, you're taking a break. And so children let down their guard, they let go of their impulses to some degree, and they take that break. But just like you come back from a holiday, they should come back and their behavior should resume. Now, you want to make sure that you're accounting for satiation and deprivation. You want to make sure that they're not tired of the reward, and you don't need to mix up the reward or maybe use like a mystery motivator or something like that to encourage them to come back to working or to keep working hard on that. So it may mean if you don't see a resume in behavior, I wouldn't necessarily throw out the entire intervention, but you may want to switch up or change your reward to prevent them from becoming bored or tired of one specific type of reward. So just be aware that when you're doing an intervention, if it's a predictable schedule of intervention based on predictable time or based on fixed number of responses, number of tokens, that you'll see behavior, and you may see a really big increase as they get closer to that reward. So maybe the last 3 or the last few that they have to earn before they get that reward, you may see a really steep spike in behavior where they're working really hard because they're almost there. But then as soon as they earn the reward, they may break or pause in their behavior. Don't be afraid of the pause. Just be able to predict the pause, recognize the pause, and then help them to get back on track and come back to working on their behavior. I hope you found this information useful and very valuable in your behavior intervention considerations. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you want more information on this, you can follow us on Facebook at Everyday Behavior with Dr. Marianne, or you can also follow us on our website at www.everydaybehaviors.com. Thanks.